Hi, and thank you for joining our TMC live session for the Manchester College. I'm shortly going to pass you over to Andrew, Andy and Adele, who will be providing you with a lot of information about the additional support on offer to learners at the Manchester College. If you have any questions at any point, you can ask them in the live Q&A box, which is just to the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll be answering those questions towards the end. I'm now going to pass over Andrew, and we'll get the session started.
I'm just going to reshare my screen, Andrew.
Oh, share your screen.
We're just having some technical difficulties.
No? Do you want me to close share?
No, I think Adele's just going to reshare her screen with us for a few minutes.
Yay.
Okay.
Lovely. Okay, thank you, Adele. Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Hume. I'm the Director of SEND Learning and Support at the Manchester College. And as Amelia has said, myself, Adele and Andy. Adele and Andy are ALS managers, additional learning support managers. We're here tonight to give you an insight into our department and our service. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have. We belong to what's actually called the Supported Learning Department, and what makes us special is that we are both a curriculum and we are a service. That's our additional learning support service to the whole of the college. So you might, as a parent or potential student, have already visited our curriculum presentation. And I know that if that is something that you are interested in and haven't yet seen, these presentations are recorded, and that's something you can be looking into. That will be our Roots to Learning curriculum and our supported internship provision. The main focus tonight, however, is the additional learning support function. We have at the college approximately at the moment 475 high needs students, and that's a particular focus of the department. So they're all students with an education, health and care plan. We operate across all campuses, and all our mainstream courses are open to all students, irrespective of their learning disability or learning need in broad terms. So there is no provision in the college which isn't accessible to high needs students, and our ALS managers operate across all the different sites within the college. So in summary then, we provide support for students with EHCPs, and that support is individualised. It's completely in line with the Preparation for Adulthood agenda, which is about developing outcomes, which is about making young people independent, participants in the economy, standing alone, and in sustainable employment. I think if there's one way we would describe our high needs cohort in the college, that the typical aspect of the education, health and care plan is there's probably an employment outcome. So we operate, as I say, across all departments within the college, and that might be students who want careers in hospitality, in catering, in joinery, in more academic disciplines. So the range of LDD SEND needs across our students is very, very, very broad indeed. Okay, so we provide support for students without an EHCP by liaising with the student, the family and their teachers. So we don't just support high needs students. The department and the ALS function in particular has a key focus on developing the skills of teachers across the whole curriculum and our support staff wherever that student with the SEND need might be. And as I say, that's not just education, health and care plan students, but students with broader SEND needs. Adele will be speaking later about our dyslexia support, for example. So our dyslexia team work with students with specific learning difficulties, including dyslexia. They can suggest strategies to support learning, and the assessors in the team will assess for exam access arrangements. So your son, daughter may have extra time in exams in school at the moment. So one thing we'd ask of you in transition and in your application to the college would be to declare the provision that you've had in your school, so we can make sure that there's a continuum of that as we progress into the time at college. We also have a range of different support workers, and they range from communication support workers. We've got an example of one of our CSWs who's going to give a short presentation shortly. And we provide support for visually impaired, for hearing impaired, and we work very, very closely with external partners, particularly Manchester City Council and their services. And actually, just as a point of interest, we're very, very proud that we have students from right across GM and beyond. Currently, we've got students from 12 different local authorities. 10 of those are GM authorities, and probably about a third of our high needs students actually travel across from Trafford, from Stockport, from Tameside, from Boltonbury, and right across the Greater Manchester area. Okay, so if we can move on. Okay, so the final bit of input from me for the moment is just to explain who our team is and how we operate. So that's myself at the top. I work across all the campuses of the college and dedicate my time where that is best served. And we have 5 additional learning support managers. The first 2 on there, you've got an opportunity to meet tonight. And you'll see Adele works at Harper Hay, Nichols and the seminary in North Manchester. Andy spends his time at Openshaw and Welcome Street. You may not know what Welcome Street is. It's the engineering, woodwork, joinery aspect of the provision at Openshaw campus. It is essentially on the same campus. Jenny Barnard, she works at Sheena Simon, and she's our hearing and visually impaired specialist and coordinates activities and external services in that regard. Jennifer Colville, she operates at Wythenshawe and Northern campus, and Tracy Melling is the ALS coordinator for dyslexia and exam access arrangements. And if you are a student that wants to progress with us through further education into higher education, Tracy spans the bridge between further education and higher education, working with USEN, which is our university wing of the college. So we operate on a geographical basis, we operate as a team, we operate to the same agenda, and our agenda is to support students with additional learning support across the whole of the Manchester College provision. So that's who we are. I'm now going to hand over to Adele.
I'm going to hand over to Andy.
Hello there. My name's Andy Armstrong, and I'm one of the additional learning support managers here at the Manchester College. As you've heard, if you have a learning difficulty or disability, then our team is here to support you, whether you're looking at coming to the Manchester College once you're here, or to help you move on once you've finished your time with us. We also have a transition team who work with people coming to college to ensure that they get the access to the right courses and support teams. We provide support for special educational needs and disability, SEND, in many ways, depending on your needs. So we might ask you about things such as how you might have been supported when in school, or what support you might need to access our buildings, classes, or what kind of help you might need around exams and assessments, as Andrew's already mentioned. And when you've been studying with us for a while, we can look at what kind of support you might need to eventually move into higher education or employment. So, What do you need to do if you think that you might need support? There are just 3 steps. First, you need to contact somebody from our ALS team or the transition team. It's important to remember that we have several different sites, one of which will be near you, or which will have the courses that you want to study on based there. Remember that slide before with the pictures of the managers on it? There are 5 of us, and as you saw, one of us looks after any of the campuses you plan to come to. Our support team work across all sites and courses and age groups, and the contact details of each manager of their sites and our transition team are coming later. Do make a note of these. Secondly, you can tell us a bit about yourself, such as what you want to study, what you've been doing before, and we can discuss how your disability affects your education and what guidance support you might need whilst in college. When you come to study in further education, you will be coming onto a programme of study that might include maths and English, employability and work experience. You might have a clear ambition and know just what kind of course or courses you need to study to get there. Or you might not have any idea of what you'd like to do in your future, but need time to work that out whilst you're here. Some people just need time to work out what it is they want to do for work and a career. So when we think about your disability and how it might affect your education, it might not just be about human support in class or using the toilet, but it might be about using assistive technology and getting to manage your learning as independently as possible. Thirdly, we can help make plans with all those who need to be involved so that you get the support that you need when you start your studies with us and ensure that you're on the right programme of study. This is where working with our transition team is really essential, as they can look at the best kind of courses that suit your needs. They can ensure that everybody who needs to meet you and help you is involved. If you have an education, health and care plan, an EHCP, then that will help us put together the right support package for you. If not, we can still support you, but this might take a different form. And if you have a diagnosis of dyslexia, for instance, or forms from school that help us understand the help you had with exams, then this is also really helpful when you come to meet one of the team. We need all the evidence that we can get to ensure that we have the adjustments in place for you. Then, when you enrol on your study programme and talk to your teachers about support, we can help you with this bit too. Of course, given recent changes about how education is provided through lockdown, some of these restrictions will affect how we do our courses, and we intend that to be able to support people, whether they're working online or whether they're doing so in classes. And this is something that we're working on at the moment with the new set of students that have come to us this year. So even if you don't need human support or want human support in classes or help to use the facilities, just having someone who knows about your worries and needs or can help answer your questions, someone who has your back and can deal with any difficulties alongside you that make all the difference. We will work with you and your teachers during the first half term to make sure that support is right for you and you can settle into your new life as a college student. So there you have it. 3 of the main things that you'll ensure that you get support when you come to college. Now, let's look at some of the people that you might meet to get that support. First, we're going to look at Alia, and she's going to explain about her work using English and then British Sign Language. And then Julie will explain about the use of assistive technology to help students.
Hi, my name is Alia and I work for the Manchester College. I'm here to talk to you about my role as SEND support practitioner. I work as part of the Additional Learning Support Department. We are here to support you and your additional needs during your time at the college. Our team are here to help you achieve, build your confidence, support you with strategies, and ultimately promoting independence. We're also here to help you have a great experience. We are here to empower you and find the best way to support you in college. At enrolment, we will have an honest chat about what works best for you and how you like to be supported. We will then collaborate with your tutors and agree a support plan and strategies that best work for your needs. We will support you in class if that's what you prefer, and will attend your lessons with you. We can work however you want us to, discreetly or next to you. We can help you develop your learning study skills. We can do key working with you, help break down information, and support you with assignments and practical tasks if that's what's best for you. Each term we will review your progress and how you are being supported. Here we will discuss what's working well and any changes we need to make to support. We also undertake person-centred reviews. This happens once every year, and this is to have a chat about the highs and the lows of the year, review outcomes and create new ones. We have a great team and look forward to helping you achieve your goals. We wish you the best of luck and hope you have a great experience with us.
So that was Alia, and now we're going to look at Julie, who works with the assistive technology.
Before we look at Julie's video, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what we can offer within the dyslexia team. So the dyslexia team, they can offer a range of support for students with specific learning difficulties, which may be dyslexia or it may be dyscalculia, etc. So the first thing that the team can offer is a screening. So it's not a diagnostic. We won't diagnose you with a specific learning difficulty, but what that screening can do is highlight any traits of a specific learning difficulty, and it might highlight some barriers that you are facing in your learning. So following that screening, the team may create a personal learning plan. So this would be highlighting any strategies that might be useful for you to overcome barriers to learning and help you study more independently. The team, as Andrew and Andy have already mentioned, also play a big part, and they are the assessors who will assess you for your exam access arrangements. So, for example, if you've had extra time, or if you've had a reader or a scribe in your exams previously, if you let us know and you work with your tutor, referrals will come through, and then the assessors will work with you to award the appropriate exam access arrangements. The team can also offer some small group support. So it might be that you're having, there's a few of you in your class that are struggling with assignments, maybe organisation, that you may be doing some small group support. So that might be 2 or 3 students working on the same assignment, for example. And the team are also offering study skills support. Now, this is available online and also in some face-to-face sessions. At the moment, the online sessions are available remotely, so it's making it accessible to a wide range of students, and you can book on those sessions to help with your study skills. For students who have a diagnosis, the team can also offer some specific interventions. So this is looking at what the specific difficulties and barriers that you are facing. So for example, if it's phonics that you are having particular difficulty with, or if it's spelling or use of language, then the team will be able to offer some specific interventions, and it might be working with you on a one-to-one basis so that you can work with in a multi-sensory way to try and break down those barriers. So it might be things like word games, it might be doing memory tasks, but that member of staff will work close with what you need. The team also play a huge part in liaising with tutors to support individual needs in the classroom. So again, that might be talking to your tutor and talking to yourself about what difficulties are you facing in the classroom and what can we do to help overcome that. So it's a real wraparound support and working together. And alongside that, the team work very closely across the whole college to try and promote a dyslexia-friendly environment across all the campuses. And again, helping to break down barriers by adapting and creating resources to make learning more accessible for you. So within the team, within the dyslexia team, we have specialist SPLD teachers, we have support staff, and we also have assistive technology support workers. In addition to that, we also have members of staff who work in our resource modification unit. So these members of staff work on adapting resources. So for example, if a student has a visual impairment and requires print to be made larger, so it might be adapting those resources, or if a student requires resource translating into Braille, that's something that our specialist team can do within the RMU. So I've briefly mentioned the role of our assistive technology support workers, and we've got a short video now of Julie, who will be able to explain in much more detail her role.
Hi, I'm Julie and I work in the assistive technology team. In this team you've also got Paul and Sue. So what's the assistive technology team, I hear you ask? Well, we're here to provide equipment, training and modified resources for any students who need it. So if you have difficulties reading long passages of text, we can show you how to make your computer or your phone read out loud. If you struggle with your writing or your spelling, we can show you how to use dictate or voice typing on your phone or computer. You might already be using that on your phone, and it's at this point that I'll tell you, perhaps some of your tutors will let you do your college work that way also. If you have a disability, for example, a visual impairment or limited mobility, we can speak to you before the start of term to discuss your assistive technology needs. So we provide support with using any additional equipment or software that you might need to do your work independently. For example, this might be a laptop with magnification software or an alternative computer keyboard, or training on how to use smartphone apps or other personal devices to produce your coursework. So Paul, my colleague in the Resources Modification Unit, largely works with students who have got a visual impairment. He provides resources such as Braille and audio MP3s, and he can provide large print hard copies of worksheets as well. He works with tutors and will modify worksheets if a student has a visual impairment. So, to sum up then, the assistive technology team, we work with students, their tutors, support workers, transition officers and outside agencies to enable students with disabilities and a learning difference to succeed. Okay, thank you.
So I briefly mentioned earlier around some of the study hubs that the dyslexia team can offer. So this is available, and I will just show you this video which will explain and give you an insight into what a study hub looks like.
My name's Mel. I work at the Sheena Simon campus at Manchester College, and I support the students with dyslexia. These are called study support hub sessions, and they run across all the campuses. Any SEND learner can come, in particular those with a specific learning difficulty such as dyslexia. Okay, the students today are from dance, but they're also doing GCSE English. This is where the difficulties lie. So this is a multisensory session, and it's to reinforce the use of language features in their writing. It's to expand their learning, and today we're going to play a game, right? So they can refer themselves, or they can be referred by their tutor. There is posters up all around the campuses, and it has our email address on. So they need to get in touch, and we're here to help.
So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into some of the support that we can offer. And we've got a great team. We've got lots of support and collaborative working, so we can work with yourself and your teachers about finding the best way for you to be the best that you can be while you're with us. So I'm just going to pass over back to Andrew now, who will just give you a quick overview about the calendar within our college year.
Thank you, Adele. Okay, so nothing dramatic, I'd like to say, in one sense. If you're in year 11 at the moment, you'll be used to 3 terms. Well, we're a college, we're not a school, but we have 3 terms. And in broad terms, term 1 is really all about settling in. Andy and Adele have described the different services that we would offer you upon declaration. So maybe you'd be working with our transition team. If you weren't, you'd be applying through the usual application and enrolment process. But the period between now really and next September is all about a dialogue about sharing your information and making sure we can get the right support in term 1 as soon as we possibly can. We will have your education, health and care plan. We will look at the targets there, and we will look at what we feel in this new environment are the most important targets to support your progression. We may actually complete some person-centred review updates in the autumn term if that's the right thing to do. But the great majority of person-centred reviews will be completed from February onwards into term 2. And it's in term 2 really from the first day when we start talking about progression planning. We will start to map out the person-centred review plan for all our students, and we will start to have reviewed your progress towards the targets in term 1. And looking whether going from level 1, say, to level 2, whether your career aspirations are precisely what they were when you started at the college. And we really are looking ahead in January, February and into spring, into the next autumn, into the next term 1, really. So quite a few months in term 1, settling in, thinking about next steps in term 2. And then with the support of the SEND support practitioners and the various specialists that Adele and Andy have described, we're then really focused on securing progression. And that's about positive progression. That might be progression in terms of academic level, and just as equally, that might be progression in terms of your preparation for adulthood outcomes, your independence, your employability, and it might even be progression in terms of your own motivation and aspiration, what you want to do next. So our job is to support you from day one and to progress you as quickly as we can, but as comfortably as that fits your needs, your aspirations, and what are your next steps. The last word I'll say there is maturation, which is all about getting used to post-16 education, adopting independence, good study skills, excellent behaviour, and maybe you'll be progressing into our mainstream curriculum, the whole range of courses that the college offers, from woodwork to BTEC media studies, all the courses that we offer. Or you might be looking to progression quite quickly into an employment outcome, and it might be that you enter into our supported internship progression, where we have some fantastic outcomes. We really are an outstanding performer by national standards in that regard. And we have this current year something like 90 students on supported internships, ranging across a whole range of different industries in the Manchester area. So 3 terms, settling in, next steps, and securing progression. And we want you to be with us as long as is necessary to support you in achieving your EHCP outcomes. So with that brief summary, I'll hand back over to Amelia, and I believe we have an opportunity for some questions.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you as well for that really great presentation. I'm just going to take a couple from the top here, and the first question is, are there any quiet spaces to go to on campus should we need some time? If you'd like to take that question.
I'll take that question.
Okay.
If that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah,
yes, they're in different parts of each campus, so there's no one single quiet room on every single campus. Some places it's there is additional space in the library. On the campuses that I work at, we've got a couple of rooms that are we sometimes use as interview rooms. But if you mention that you might need these to your tutors, or you mention it to us at enrolment, then we can work out when, depending on when you're in the week, which is the most effective quiet space for you.
That's brilliant, thank you. Another question here. I have got extra time in my exams at school. Will I get the same at college?
I'll take that one, Amelia.
Thank you.
So what our dyslexia team and the assessors within that team will do is, if you can bring any information with you about what you've had previously, and then they will do the assessment and make sure that you have the appropriate exam access arrangements in place for when you come to college. So bring your information and the assessors will assess you.
That's great, thank you.
Could I just add to that a little bit? It's really important that, as Adele says, you share that information. You must appreciate that I don't know the exact number of schools that liaise with the college and send their students to us, but I'm sure it's over 50 different schools. So it's really important that you bring that information to us, because it is quite a challenge to get that information from the school, because there are so many of them. So bring that with you. And the only other thing I'd say is that be prepared when you come to any interview to talk about that in the terms that you understand. So if you had extra time, if you had a reader or a scribe or whatever it is, please tell us that, because there are so many people who might be dealing with you interview, and they might use the phrase exam access arrangements, and that might not be the phrase that you know. So you tell us about your extra time and that you might have had a separate room or whatever in your language, and as Adele says, we'll pick up on that and we'll get the support in place as quickly as we can.
That's brilliant, thank you for that. Just similarly, while we're on that topic. We've had a question. Would a member of the transition team or the support team be able to attend my EHCP review meeting in year 11? Andrew, do you want to answer that one?
I'll pick that one up, and Adele might help me out because Adele was previously a transition officer. So shall I just give that to you now, Adele?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. So all of our transition team, they are allocated a school. So the school that you are in will have an allocated transition officer. So what I'd encourage you to do is to talk to your teachers at school and ask them to get in touch. So the transition team email should be on the comments section in here. But hopefully the teachers at the school should have that link already with our transition team. So it's about getting in touch with them, and they will, wherever possible, attend your person-centred review. And that'd be a really important link, because then that transition officer becomes that link between your experience at school and your experience coming through to college. So they'll work with your school, yourself and your family around gathering as much information as possible. What they'll then do is help you decipher what course, which course you want to go on, which campus is best suited for you. And they'll also create a support plan then that will be available to all the staff who support and teach you. So it's about making that smooth transition, really. They're key to that role. So it is really important to get in touch.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much. Another question here. Well, it's not really a question. I'm not sure if I have an EHCP or not. Would you be able to advise on that?
I'll take that one. If you work, like Adele says, if you're in school and that you're not really sure, but you think that you might need some support, then talk to your teachers, and the transition team can work with you, whether you've got an education, health and care plan or not, to ensure that you get a smooth transition into college. So it's just important that you ask and work with your teachers, and then they can help that. If when you come to enrolment with us, whether it's face-to-face or online, you'll be asked questions about an education, health and care plan. If you think that you might have one or you're unsure, just mention that and we can always check up. So we're doing a little bit of Miss Marple work at the moment, checking up with quite a lot of students that have come to us to check up whether they've got an education, health and care plan, because sometimes the students or the families aren't always aware.
Brilliant, thank you. And just while we're on the care plans here, someone has said, I don't have an EHCP, but I do need support. Is that still available?
Shall I take that one?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, as we what we will do to provide support, so the study hubs, the video that we saw Mel, the study hubs are available to all students who have an SEN need, and we can also help support by liaising with your teachers as well. So we do have we have a lot of support staff. So what we would do is maybe liaise with your teachers around teaching strategies. We might also liaise with the mentor that's attached to your curriculum area as well, if there's any pastoral support that you need. We might also link you with the student experience team if there's any support that you need around mental health or any safeguarding issues. So it's really about talking to all the different members of staff who will be available to support you and working out the best strategies that will work for you on your programme.
Yes, definitely, thank you. Someone's asked here, I don't want people to know that I need support, will that be okay? I'm assuming that means like friends and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What we will do is once we create the support plan, that's not visible to everybody. It will be visible to the people who need to know information about you. So, for example, your teacher. But what you share with your peers and what you share with your friends is entirely up to you. And we work with how you want to be supported. So, as Alia mentioned in the video, some students prefer closer support and they're quite comfortable with that, whereas other students are clear that they want discrete support. So we work around, you know, providing that support in the best way possible and what suits you.
Thank you very much. Someone's asked here, I need personal care help getting around the college. I know that you touched on that a little bit in the presentation, but is there any further information you can provide on that?
I'll take that one. If you, again, if you're coming to us from a school, or even if you've not been in education for a year or so, when you come through, it's always really good to have a frank discussion with us. And if you're coming through the school, then you work with the transition officers. Then the transition officers have the training to be able to look at the kind of provision that you had in the school and kind of care that you had in the school, and then we can replicate that here. That might involve you actually coming and actually teaching us about how to best support you on a transition day. And so we get to know you, but we will draw up a plan for your personal care or for your access around the campus. And that's something that we've got specially trained staff to do.
Brilliant, thank you. This question here is, if my son doesn't pass his GCSE Maths or English, will he have to redo them with you? And if so, will there be support around his timetable for this?
I'll pick that one up. There will be a course if your son doesn't pass either one or the other one. And the expectation is that we would give the opportunity for all students to achieve a pass in GCSE Maths, English or functional skills. If that is a cause of anxiety for a student who's got an education, health and care plan, we have ways of finding an exemption for that. That might be a pause of a year before it's picked up again. But EHCPs do provide us with the possibility of an exemption. But if anybody's son or daughter wishes to support complete GCSE Maths or English, we would treat that in exactly the same way as the main part of their programme of study. So if it were health and social care with a resit in maths, we don't differentiate between the two. We would support in both maths and health and social care. So the answer, I think, is what you want, which is yes.
Definitely, thank you for that. We've just got another question here. Will I always have the same teacher or support worker? Let's answer that one.
Can I take that one?
Thank you.
So what we try to do is to build really positive and positive working relationships. What we can't guarantee is that it will be one teacher and one support worker, but what we do try to do is build consistency throughout the week so that you can build those positive working relationships. So the support worker gets to know how you work and how best to support you, but equally you build that good positive working relationship with that support worker as well, so that you are comfortable to ask for support and that you can say what's working and what's not working. So it might not be one person for all week, but what we do try to build in is consistency wherever possible.
That's great, thank you. And we're just coming up to our last couple. I think we've got 3 questions left. The first question is, can I come and look around the college yet? Let's answer that one.
I can answer that one. The answer is yes, absolutely. Obviously, we're in the pandemic situation at the moment, but we will be announcing provision shortly where small groups will be able to attend the campus. So the answer is yes. It wouldn't be as last autumn with larger groups and physical open evenings, but when anybody makes a request to have a visit to the campus, we will make sure that that happens.
Brilliant, thank you. And then another question here. I don't want the support, but my mum says I should have it. What happens then?
Okay, I'll take that one. Okay, so the support is actually all about you, and it's all about meeting your needs. But what we will do is we will talk to you and your parents, and we will always trial things out and see what works best. So it could be actually that you are the person that really wants the support, and your mum's saying, well, I'm not so sure. We try it out, and after a couple of weeks you say, no, I'm actually settled in okay. So we will try and be realistic, because the support works in lots and lots of different ways. So sometimes people think support is just having somebody stuck next to them in the classroom. That doesn't always work. As we mentioned before, sometimes it can be technology support. Sometimes it can just be meet and greet support. Sometimes it can just be meeting you before the classes and going over what's going to happen in the class so that you're prepared, or after the class and talking about what happened in the classroom so that you can understand what you need to do for your homework. We try to be as flexible as possible, and we can always review it, and nothing is set in stone.
Brilliant, thank you. And then just coming up to our very last question, who should I talk to about coming to college, whether that's starting or enrolling?
Shall I take that? I think your first point now is the transition team. So if you're thinking about coming to us at the Manchester College and you've got an SEN need, then get in touch with the transition team, send them an email or get in touch through your schools, and they will be the key people for you at this point, working out what's best for you. So get in touch with the transition team and they'll be more than happy to help.
Brilliant, thank you. So with that being the last question for tonight, that comes to the end of the session. Thank you for coming to our additional supported learning session. If you would like to enrol for this year, you still can. The team are available for you to speak to this evening on 0161 674 1080. And if you would like to apply to the Manchester College for 2021, please visit our website at www.tmc.ac.uk. And if you need to speak to someone about applications, more information about what you've heard this evening, our school liaison team are waiting to take your call on 0161 674 3496. And just because it's definitely needed for this evening with how much it's come up, again, just to reiterate, the transition team email address is transitionteam@tmc.ac.uk. So you can email them and they'll be happy to help and provide all the answers to your questions from this evening. Again, thank you for joining us. Have a lovely evening and speak to you soon. Thank you.